Good morning, everybody. This is aka Heather Joy, and you have boarded the lifeboat, guys. Let's see who's here this morning. Charlie, Valerie, Seventh Son, Clintman, Coburn. Let's see, looks like that is all so far, but I know there's going to be people popping in. Yes, it is Sunday morning in the U.S. It is. Oh, and John Doe, good morning. Welcome, everybody. Yes, it is Sunday morning, 6 a.m. in Utah, anyway, where I am. Let's see, before I get started, we do have just a few rules here on the lifeboat. The first one in the chat and in the comments, please don't discuss politics. They are just a bit too triggering. And the second one, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, for heaven's sakes. There it went. This isn't a religious channel. It is fine to offer to pray for one another, to make statements like, I couldn't have found sobriety without my faith. Those are fine, but please, nothing overbearing. The third one, please refrain from cursing in the chat in the comment section. As Tommy always says, if you can't control your mouth, you can't control your life. And I tend to agree with him quite wholeheartedly on that one. And the fourth one, no trolls. There's all the room in the world on this boat for people who are looking for help with finding sobriety and maintaining sobriety or helping someone do that. Got all the room we could ever need, but there is no room for trolls. No mean people. If you're going to be mean, you're just going to get banned permanently. So there you go. I also would ask you guys to please exit out of the chat just for a minute. Hit that like button, please. And please remember to share and subscribe. That kind of just signals the algorithm that this is a channel people are engaged with, which they are. But we want to reach as many people as we can. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would do those two things. And yeah, mean people suck. Seventh, I agree. Good morning, full of hope. And oh, Patrick, good morning. Good to see you. Okay, here. Pull up what I had prepared for this morning. And I actually went and took a little video of my chickens that I keep here at the house, my little ornamental ones, and I uploaded it, everything, and it's just not here. So I'm still working on that one. That's okay though. Anyway, let me pull up what I had prepared for this morning. Start with that one. Okay. Wanted to talk today a little bit about anger. The last time that I was on and I was talking about something serious. Okay, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, reconciling with other people. We were talking about anger for some reason. We went off on that tangent for a minute, and that's something that I have struggled with for a very long time. I don't like it. I'm very sensitive to people's energy, and when I feel negative emotions like that, and especially anger, ooh, I'm sensitive to that. I don't like that feeling. I don't like being around it. I don't like it when I feel it. I don't know a very good way of expressing it after all of these years. Sorry, guys, I got allergies. Oh boy. Something around here has got my eyes, the whole works going, but let's see. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about anger. And I'm sure there are many of you that are listening that know the damage that anger can do. A lot of us have been on the receiving end of anger, and we know very well what that can do, to a relationship. There's nothing really that terrible about anger. Until it isn't handled properly. Anger actually is something, it's an emotion that we need. It is built into us for some good reasons. Some of them, it's a good thing if you witness someone being hurt or someone being mistreated, or you see something unfair, for that to cause negative emotions in you, that and get you angry. It's a good thing because maybe something can be done about what you're witnessing. uh, it's also a good motivator. If you're really angry about something and it really forces you to into some action of some kind, that's a good thing. And that's really what I want to end up talking about today, is channeling that energy, into turning anger into something good, something beneficial. But like I said, it's something that's necessary for us. It kind of lets us know, hey, something needs to change here. Something's not right. If you're experiencing negative emotions, I mean, you're sensing that for a reason. It could be a variety of different reasons, and come from different sources. But it is, like I said, it's a good thing. Until it's not handled properly, that's when irreparable damage can be done. I know for myself, that is, it was the anger, my mother's inability to control her emotions, her inability to express them in a healthy way. It was because of that, that I ended up on the receiving end of a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of mental games, a lot of, just, and when you take that, year after year after year after year, when you're growing up, it really does have an impact on you. And there are some things that she said to me that, even though I know why she was behaving the way she was, and I understand the source of her rage and her aggression and everything that was coming out, there are some things that, once you say them, you can never take them back. And it doesn't matter how much you apologize or try to make amends. There are sometimes things said that just do damage that you just can't undo. That's something we really really want to avoid, because there's many of us here that know what it feels like. So, that's something, that really need to work on. And I think it's really important that we work on managing our emotions before they ever reach a state of anger that is uncontrolled, or anger that turns to rage, or the anger that turns to aggression. If you can mitigate the emotions and the things that you're feeling and the stress, and the frustration, if you have a ways of dealing with those, you treat the problem at the root, and then it's not going to escalate. But that's something I think we can all work on. I know I personally, like I said, I'm not comfortable with anger. I don't like feeling that. I don't like expressing it. And I have always been one to just tamp it down, tamp it down. That's not good. A lot of times, anger, when there's something going on in your life that causes a lot of anger, and it isn't dealt with, and you just keep pushing it down and pushing it down, it comes through in depression. Very deep, dark depression. Sometimes it can push you. If you are just pushing all these things down, sooner or later it's going to release, and it's not going to be pretty. And there have been a few times where I have just couldn't keep that cork in the bottle any longer, and the person on the other end really got it. And it was the weirdest thing for me the last time it happened, because I knew exactly what was going on, and I knew the person didn't deserve everything that I was spilling out at them. And yet it was, I could not, it just came out. I mean, it was just almost uncontrollable. And then it was really embarrassing. And then to have to mop up afterwards. Oh boy. So this is definitely something that I need to work on. But I was thinking also that Another reason we really don't want to ignore anger, we don't want to just keep keep shoving it down and ignoring it, is can actually be turned in on ourselves as well in different forms of self-harm. It was a big reason behind why I was an addict for so long. But when it's turned, I can't bear the thought of hurting other people with anger, and I don't like it when it happens. I hate that when I it doesn't happen often with me, but it does happen sometimes. I don't like it. Um, and I don't like the thought of hurting someone. I would much rather turn it inside than hurt anybody else. But it has landed me in a mess at times, and I have permanent health issues as well that I deal with every day now because of all of these years of anger that was just bottled up. It was there for too long. So it's not a good idea to hide your anger, to tamp it down, to run from it. It's just not a good idea. There, you need to learn healthy ways of managing it. And one of the best ways, honestly, and a lot of you guys are going to go, journaling. Seriously, there, when I am really angry and I feel like I'm just going to burst, one of the best things I can do is get out my journal and just start. I don't even write in sentences; it's just phrases, and I just start spilling. What was the term we had the other day? Mental vomit or something like that. It was I love the term. I don't remember what it was now, but I mean that's what I do. I just start spilling it out because it's got to get out. And the more I start writing, the more all these emotions start to get out and onto the paper, and then I'm able to really look at it and start to think about it and conceptualize it and see it for what it is and see where it's coming from. And it it helps so much to journal. And nobody has to read your journal. It does not have to make sense as long as it works for you. Honestly, you don't have to worry about your penmanship or your punctuation or anything like that. It's really a really good way of dealing with frustration and stress and anger. It's a really good idea, to get some of that out, so it doesn't cause you to ruin relationships or to turn it on yourself. Hang on here a second. Menopause is so fun. Hot flashes again. Oh my word. This has been going on for years now. Anyway, let's see. Another great way of managing anger is exercise. Oh my goodness. That's going for a run when I'm angry. Yeah, it's always a good run. I've always found too when I am very frustrated with my husband, if I go to the gym and I get out that 12-pound medicine ball, I can't handle the 20 very well. If it's a 12-pounder, pick that up and slam it, do 15 on this side, 15 on that side, 15 right in front of you. Yeah, very effective. Sledgehammers to tires are good. When I was in rehab, I actually was able to take a sledgehammer to an old car, and you'd be surprised how quickly you get tired. But honestly, though, exercise is such a good way of releasing some of that energy, some of that stress that gets pent up. And if you can do that, it's going to keep you from your anger levels rising to the point where you're going to lose control. Another one that is very, very helpful is meditation. There's all kinds of ways of being mindful. There's all kinds of different meditations, but very, very helpful. Deep breathing as well. You can use that in conjunction with with meditation or just deep breathing on your own. That's a very good one. Simply going for a walk. And I'm sure Alan Valentine can swear by this one. Going for a walk is a very good one. Getting out, looking at, getting different smells and different sights and different sounds, and I don't know, fresh air. It does something for your head, and yet you can kind of clear your head a little bit and think things through. That's a good one. Another thing sometimes it's just a really a good idea sometimes if you're in the middle of an agreement and you're just not getting anywhere either side, taking a break, that's okay. And I know for me personally, a lot of people, when I first got married to my first husband, I remember a lot of people saying, never go to bed angry. Baloney. Not everybody processes anger the same as everyone else. And for me, if I get into an argument with my husband, um, I usually get so angry and so upset that I don't even know what I'm thinking or feeling, and I need time. And a lot of times, I need to go to bed and sleep on it, and do some writing about it in my journal, and just think about it. And I always feel better the next day if I've had a good night's sleep too. But for me, I need to go to bed angry sometimes. I can't just settle it, and it drives my poor husband crazy. But it's the way I feel things so deeply and so strongly that it's the only way it works for me. I have to have time to calm down and to settle down and to look at everything. So yeah, like I said, don't believe that. You don't absolutely have to, never go to bed angry. That's, yeah, just doesn't work for everybody. But, um, you know, let me just briefly talk about when anger isn't just anger. Um, Sometimes depression, for me, when I have anger that's never dealt with, and there's something going on, that just never changes, never gets taken care of, it turns to depression in me. However, sometimes people with depression, it can actually come out in anger and aggression. And so if you are experiencing, a very unnatural amount of anger, all of a sudden, it's a really good idea, to do some writing about it in your journal, and ponder about it, think about it, and try to decide, where is it coming from? Is this being compounded with depression? Is it there's there can be, a lot of different things going wrong. But if your relationships are struggling because of anger, that's a good time to get some help, or to learn some better techniques of managing anger. But definitely, if you are, either way, if you're becoming so angry that you are harming someone, whether it be emotionally or physically, or if you're on the receiving end of some of that, you've got to get help. That's unacceptable. That's not right. And there are many different, um, DV hotlines you can call, places that you can get help. But if the anger on either end is getting to that point, that's definitely a time that you need some professional help. I think seriously, that you don't want that to get out of hand. Let's see. Now, as I was speaking about before, it's a really good idea, to try to take care of situations that are causing you a lot of stress. And it's a really good idea to take care of these things before they become, this intense anger. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. I really think it's a good idea, first of all, to just deal with stress, sorry, frustrations and stress, um, before you have to worry about something bigger. Because perhaps you can take care of things at this level. And the first suggestion that have seen on so many different websites, so many different articles, is think before you speak. And that's a good one. And you'd think, at 52, you'd think I would have learned my lesson. But I continually put my foot in my mouth because I don't think before I speak. And yeah, I do a lot of mopping up when I do that. Usually it's just between my husband and I, but still, I don't want to. He's the one I love the most. I don't want to hurt him. But, that's something I'm still working on. It really does a lot of good for me to just take a breath, count to 10, and sometimes it's a good idea, if you're still really angry, to write something down and throw it away, or make a text or an email and then not send it, just to get some of that out. But again, think before you speak. It's a really good idea. The second thing, you would want to do would be following, once you think for a minute, count to 10, take that deep breath. Once you're calm enough, uh, state what is making you upset. Say say you let your son borrow your car for the night, and he comes home really, really late, and there's a 16th of a tank of gas left, and you've got to go to work in the morning. And of course, that's going to upset you. Maybe you spend a very, very long time making dinner for your husband, and you've got it all ready, and you call him to dinner, and it takes him 15 minutes to get to the table. And by then, everything's cold. These are, you know, take it, once you're calmed down, take a minute and say, okay, why am I really upset? Okay, well, my son was very inconsiderate, or my husband was very inconsiderate. I mean, but you need to state, figure out what it is that you're actually angry about. And then the third suggestion here is to use some humor to release the tension. My family tried this and failed because in my family of origin, my siblings and I, it is an Olympic sport to be the most sarcastic. And I had never really thought about it. It was just the way we speak with each other. When I'm with my siblings, we are horribly sarcastic. And my two sisters are the best at it. I kind of I'm on the lower end of the talent there, but they're really good. But I have made the mistake with my second husband of being sarcastic around him, and it really hurt his feelings. And I had just never thought about it before. And he said, "Well, look at it this way. When you're being sarcastic, even though you're joking, there is a nugget of truth in there somewhere." And I started to think about it, and I thought, he's right. So I tried very hard to not be sarcastic with my husband. But sarcasm can be mean. It really can. So something you want to avoid, but to make light of a situation, bring some levity. It's always a good way to release tension. And I have no problem being self-deprecating, just to release some tension. But that's always a good idea. And again, here is the suggestion. Again, the next one is taking a time out. They aren't just for kids, honestly. Sometimes you need to be aware, where your energy is. And if you need to take a break and get away for a little bit, to calm down, to get some exercise, to get a change of scenery, what have you, is there's no problem in taking a time out, and very necessary for me. And then the fifth suggestion here again is to get exercise. I cannot say enough good about exercise. Very, very helpful for so many reasons. Let's see, the sixth one, again, we have talked about this before, but it suggested to practice relaxation skills. There's many, like, meditation, um, deep breathing exercises, those are all very good things. Sometimes even just a meditation of just repeating a mantra, or doing some yoga. All of those things are again very helpful. The next thing that is suggested is that you don't hold a grudge. That's a hard one sometimes. It really is. But that's what we were talking about when we were talking about reconciling with people that we've been estranged from. We were talking about forgiveness and what a powerful tool that is. And it is hard, it is difficult sometimes, but if you can get to where you don't hold grudges, that boy, that's a load off of you. That's, hopefully that right there can keep things from escalating into some severe anger. Let's see. These are all just suggestions of things you can do, you know, at, to mitigate frustration and stress, so that that things don't escalate to where you're horribly angry and it escapes, in an uncontrolled manner, because that's what we really, really want to avoid. Um, and there are ways you can channel it. Honestly, anger can really, really be a good motivator. And say for people, let's see, sometimes when I'm upset, when I'm angry, I get into a cleaning mode, and I can clean the whole house just like that, and I channel my frustration, my anger into that, because it brings some order. Honestly, for me, the way that things look around me, my environment has a big impact on me. And a lot of times, if I'm angry and I'm stressed, straightening up the clutter, cleaning things up really helps. That's a good way of channeling things. But if you've experienced anything like that, where you've been angry and it's pushed you to action, that's channeling it into a positive way. It can really be a life changing skill if you can learn how to do this. And I just want to go over some of the physical symptoms that you can have when you have anger that just isn't dealt with properly. It can lead, honestly, to heart disease. How many people get extremely upset, extremely angry about something, and have a heart attack? It's very, very common. Stroking out, same thing. It can lead to strokes, aneurysms, high blood pressure. I mean, there's a whole host of issues that high blood pressure can do. Um, but yeah, you can definitely, if when someone is extremely angry, you can check their blood pressure. It's going to be way above baseline. Digestive problems are another huge problem with unresolved anger. Lots, just nausea, vomiting, lots of diarrhea, lots of irritable bowel syndrome type of symptoms, where you'll be constipated, and then you'll have diarrhea, and you'll bounce back and forth. You'll have lots of pain, lots of gas, lots of all kinds of issues will turn up. You know, with this. And headaches, this is a huge one. A lot of times it's tension headaches, because most people will carry a lot of stress in their neck muscles and their trapezius muscles and through their shoulders. Their upper back area can get really tight, and when those muscles tighten up, it feels like you've got a band across your forehead that's just tight. It's a tension headache. But you can end up with migraines, with all kinds of different headaches, but very often you end up with tension headaches. Um, you're also going to see it in your skin. People that struggle with autoimmune disorders, and you can have lots of different kinds of rashes that will come out on your skin. But also just things like psoriasis and eczema. All there's all kinds of different skin disorders, but that will come out when you're not dealing with your anger properly. When it's just pent up and tamped down, your body's going to let you know, hey, there's something wrong here, and it really does need to be dealt with. And if you do start to take care of these things, your body honestly is going to thank you later. So I have 8 ways you can try to um, channel that energy into something positive. And the first one, and we've talked a little bit about this before, but the first thing that is suggested in doing this is, to consider why you're angry. Anger isn't something that just happens. It doesn't just exist in a void. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's got to be some underlying obstacle or some underlying issue that's causing these negative emotions. Um, say somebody tells you some bad news, something very frustrating, um, and you're angry, and you start to take your anger out on the person that gave you the bad news. Well, that's not why you're angry. You're not angry at the person, and yet you're directing it to the person. That you need to think about, why am I really angry? And instead of taking it out on somebody that isn't responsible for this bad news, if you can figure out why you're angry, figure out what that underlying cause is, what that underlying obstacle is, you can either remove the obstacle or you can fix the problem. But that you need to take that energy and turn it into something positive, something that's going to be helpful. So again, consider, why are you really angry? That's an important one. I know I'm guilty of taking things out on my husband, taking out frustration on my poor husband when he has nothing to do with it, and he doesn't deserve it. And that's something I really have to catch myself with at times. But anyway, the second way that you can channel these energies for the positive is to look for what you can change. There are so many things that happen to us throughout the day that we have absolutely no control over. And I believe Tommy always I hear him speak often about 95% of what goes on you don't have control over, but 5% of it you do. So think about what you can change. That's where you need to put your efforts, your emphasis, your worry. What can you change? The stuff that you have no control over, it's going to do absolutely no good to be angry, to focus on it, to worry about it. The only thing, in the end, the only thing that you really can control is how you react to things, how you see things, how your mindset, your attitude. That's, in the end, that's what ultimately what you all you can control. But this is a good thing to remember. What do I have control over here? What can I change? Focus on that, rather than being upset with things that you really can't do anything about. Um, I believe that's a good one too. The third thing that is suggested has a lot to do with self awareness. And if you're self aware, that can be really, really helpful for, controlling and kind of channeling emotions a little bit more effectively. In a moment of anger, if you can pinpoint why you're upset in that moment, um, you're able to learn more about the sore points the emotional catalysts. Um, Kind of, it can help you. If you can pinpoint when you get something triggers you and you're angry, if you can pinpoint that, you can learn from it so that the next time maybe you are more prepared, better prepared for it. But it's really important that you know the things that trigger you. Honestly, they're very, very important to know beforehand, just so that you are prepared and you have a plan in your head. You already know how to react, how to handle it, what to do. But this one takes a good bit of self awareness and a lot of, again, you probably don't want to hear this one, but I know with myself, I have discovered what my triggers are through journaling, through writing. And and a lot of the time the things I write only make sense to me. And they aren't full sentences. They're just chunks and feelings and emotions and things. But from that I start to learn about myself, and I learn the things that make me upset, that trigger me. And honestly, it's easier to know how to handle it, and I'm more prepared, because I already know. And if I'm going into a situation that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be triggered for, I'm already prepared for it. I've already decided that I'm going to keep control. Anyway, fourth one I have here is um, anger can be used to set boundaries. Now, I'm sure every one of you have one time or another been taken advantage of or been walked all over. And it's incredibly stressful, incredibly frustrating. It can really make you angry. So it's really important that it, that you set boundaries. People need to know where they stand with you, and what they are allowed to say and do. You need to make it clear. If you're not sure even what your boundaries are, again, a good way of figuring that out is through some journaling, through some writing. But you need to be willing to confront people and demand certain behaviors of them, certain treatments. Everybody should be treated with respect, and to be treated the way that you should. And I believe completely you should treat people the way you want to be treated. But you need to stand up for yourself and not let people walk all over you, not let people cross a certain line with you. They need to know what that is. If somebody ignores your values, or there's just so many things that could go into this. But it can get us very, very angry. Setting boundaries is a really important one. And if you have tried setting boundaries, and this a particular person keeps crossing those, and you find yourself getting very angry, it might be a good idea to distance yourself from that person for a time. I've had to do that many times. Anyway, and we've spoken about this fifth one a little bit before, but anger, like I said, can be really motivating. If you know, sometimes people can make a comment, like maybe someone will tell you that you are not capable of obtaining your dream job, or you're unable to do this, or you're unable to that. Comments like that can make a person very upset. Again, this is where you can use that as motivation to prove somebody wrong. That I know Tommy has done this with a particular judge, and showed the judge had said something about, he would never make it. And look, if I remember correctly. Anyway, look where Tommy is now. I mean, he's proved so many people wrong that never thought he would amount to anything, and look what he's doing. This is amazing. And that's a really good example right there of using something very upsetting and using it to motivate you for good. Let's see, the sixth suggestion here is to develop some perspective. Let's see, when you are, when you're feeling angry, it's really good idea before to ask yourself, how important is this thing that I'm upset about? Will it matter in a year? Will it matter next week? I mean, but it's a good idea to get some perspective and decide, is this something silly, or is this worth some time and effort? If it deeply upsets you, deeply upsets you, that right there should maybe help you decide, whether it's worth taking more action with it. But perspective can't always help in any situation. Another thing you can do, as we have suggested before, ways of dealing with frustration is through exercise. So why not use some of those negative emotions, why not channel those into improving your fitness level? If you're already getting exercise, this is something you can use to push you, to get your best personal record with weights, or with um there's so many different things, but you can really channel that into improving your fitness. You improve your fitness, improve your health, you feel better, you have those all of those positive neurotransmitters and hormones, all those feel good chemicals, those are released. And if you are constantly working on your fitness, you're getting a constant release of those things, you're going to feel better, it's going to be easier to deal with triggering things. So I like that one. The eighth one that I have here is Um, okay. I hadn't even looked at that one before. But yes, when this one is just simply channeling your energy. We all know what it feels like when parasym- our sympathetic nervous system, I always mix these up. Our sympathetic nervous system, when it's our fight or flight, when that is triggered, we know what that feels like. And there is definite release of neuroepinephrine. Um, that is very energizing. So anger can be very energizing. So again, I don't know why they're repeating this one, but you can channel that into doing something. Maybe you have been behind, and you've been procrastinating with something, but you can channel all that energy into getting a whole bunch done all of a sudden, and that can only help. You have a sense of accomplishment once you have tackled something that you haven't wanted to do, or something you procrastinated. And again, there's another release of all of those feel good chemicals, so it's a good thing to do. But that is really all I have as far as dealing with anger, and trying to channel that into something positive. Anger, it really is an important human emotion, but it does require some practice. And I think learning to channel that negative energy into something positive is a very valuable life skill. And, as addicts, I think we can all benefit from learning this for a very long time, rather than dealing with our emotions, or even feeling these emotions, let alone, feeling, turning them into something positive. Uh, we've just we've used our drug of choice to numb ourselves, or to make ourselves feel something different. I mean, we all know our reasons for why we are addicted to something, but we haven't had very much practice with dealing with anger, especially. At least I feel from what I've seen as a psych nurse. I've seen a lot of people just simply didn't have the skills to be able to manage their emotions and especially anger, and some really awful things can happen as a result. And yeah, we all know how that can be. But I hope that some of these suggestions can be helpful. And I want to say again, if you find that you try some of these methods and you still find yourself incredibly angry and or so very easily triggered, it's indicating there really is something underlying there. And if you cannot find the source of it, or find what you need to help that, it's a really good idea to seek some professional help. It's good for your health, it's good for safety, it's a good thing. Anyway, I hope you guys that has been helpful. Let me flip this back open and see who has popped into chat since I last looked. Goosebump, good morning. Balake, Allison, let's see. Swiss Paper, good morning. Let's see, anybody else that has snuck in here? Go. Oh. Go says, I find anger does nothing but push us farther from God. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. You nailed that one. You nailed that one. I completely agree. See, I already, yeah, I saw Clinton was already here. Dennis in. Good morning. Let's see if I missed. Oh, JT, good morning in Virginia. Hey, M. Hunt, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's see. Cheryl, hey, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Good morning. Anybody else? We've got lots of people here. Jennifer, hey, glad you are here. Let's see. You guys have been busy in the chat. It just keeps going and going. Let's see. Hey, John, Jon, and James, and Lemmy. Good morning. And that's wait. Okay, it's still going. Wow, you guys have been busy. Lady BB, good morning. Paul Sargent, hello. Let's see. Wow, you guys have really been busy. Anyway, if I missed you, I apologize. Oh, Joe Dechino is here. Nice. Tommy is a bad patient, but he's doing well. Yeah, he's not giving himself the time he needs to get back to normal. I agree, but you can't force somebody. You can talk until you're blue in the face, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I at least he's got tonight and tomorrow morning off for sure. I will be with you guys this evening and tomorrow morning for certain. And I will keep pushing. I'll see how far I can talk him into resting up. But that's a hard one, guys. It really is. I haven't spoken to him this morning, so I'm not sure, Dennis, how he is this morning. He's probably not feeling well. He might be, I don't know. I'm hoping he's not throwing up, but I don't know. He's probably, his nose is running a lot. He might be scratching everywhere. He might be, I don't know. I hope he's in a nice hot tub trying to get his muscles to relax, because they were really jumping. He was having lots of spasms yesterday, and it makes it feel like your bones honestly just want to jump right out of your body. It's not a nice feeling. And if he got any sleep, it was probably very restless. He probably had a lot of restless leg issues and all of that. But I don't know. I haven't spoken to him yet. I hope he had a decent night. But we're gonna get him through this. And you guys, thank you for all your prayers and for all those beautiful ones in chat. You guys are the best. And Mind My Blues, good morning. You popped in. Nice. Well, you guys, I have got to go do chicken chores this morning, so I'm going to knock off here a few minutes early, but I will see you guys this afternoon. Well, it'll be this evening here where I am. I know we have people now from all over the world that have joined us, and I love that. And I hope everybody feels welcome. This is such a wonderful thing to have people from everywhere that are joining in here. But I hope you guys have a great day. I hope that some of these ideas might be of some help to you. But you guys, I'm praying for every single one of you. I pray every day, several times a day, for everybody on this boat. I want you guys to remember you can do this. I know sobriety, especially at the beginning, is not easy. But I promise you can do it, and I promise you it is worth it. Really is. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in 11 hours. So thank you. We'll see you then.